I think they need a serious rebranding. I mean, head to toe, whether you're thinking about new logo, new profile photos for everyone. Don't wear this red and white polo tee and everything already, right?
PSP, what is the appeal to join?
I think PSP needs to move away from the more of the same or the shadow of Cheng Bock that it's been in since its founding, right?
Yeah.
There was no barrier other than the windscreen between him and the husband. No barrier because he also had no clothes, right? If you work in e-commerce or marketing or just want to find out about the biggest digital trends, you have to keep October 8th and 9th free. Because that's when Asia's leading e-commerce expo will be happening at Marina Bay Sands. And for the first time ever, Europe's iconic DMEXCO is teaming up with them to form one ultimate event, eCommerce Expo DMEXCO Asia. It's not just a big name, it's going to be a huge event, literally, because they're taking over the entire Level 5 at MBS. So a full dedicated floor with a more premium vibe and a super targeted audience who actually work in this space and do cool stuff. So if you're sick of bloated expos with random booths and buzzwords, this one's different. You're going to hear from speakers from familiar brands like Rakuten, Electrolux, Triumph, Ninja Van, and so many other people actually driving the industry forward. Best part of all, it's free to attend. Click on the link in the show notes to get your free pass. And now, onto the podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man. How was the weekend?
No, it was good, man. Weather was actually pretty decent. Wasn't too hot. Rained a little bit here and there. And yeah, fun weekend. Fun weekend.
Huh?
I was out at the botanic gardens and partaking in, nature and in Singapore as much as we can, yeah.
And was it like damn crowded?
It wasn't.
Was it?
Yeah. I think people thought the weather would be really hot, but actually it was quite
But
decent.
Yesterday, Sunday was damn hot.
Sunday was hot, yeah. But
Saturday
was
nice.
nice. Yeah.
It was nice.
And
I see. That's cool. I think for me, did you do nature stuff? Went for long walks with our kid because now she's used to the stroller already.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. Then we just walk everywhere. So that was nice. But yeah, just flew by the weekend as always.
Flew by. And I guess also because we had finished our show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
that's true. I really got withdrawal symptoms, no?
I mean, I'm done with it already, lah. It was the first couple of days. Yeah.
I mean, in the sense that there was something very nice about it. It's an experience like we've never had before. Doing the same show for 9 times.
Yeah.
And going to the same location, working with the same group of people to perform the same set. There was something very romantic about it.
But last week was also really busy for us because we recorded.
Correct.
So just getting back in the swing of things, I think that helped me to get over that.
I see. There was no immediate vacuum.
Yeah, no vacuum. In fact, we were way busier. I mean, I was up late almost every night last week. Yeah,
true. I remember after we finished our TV series in 2019, there was a big vacuum.
Big vacuum because you don't know what's the next stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's like, wow, we came back. We're being dragged left, right, center, to a lot of different things.
Which is a good problem to have.
Good problem to have. In fact, we got more stuff coming up even this week, right?
Exactly. So for those of you who haven't signed up for our Yalabat newsletter, which is called Your Little Bit, our weekly sum up of our One Shiok Things and any new things we're launching. We're launching something this Thursday. So 10th July. So if you want to get first dibs, first notice, just go to yalabat.com and sign up for the newsletter. I mean, we won't say much because we keep it mysterious.
Yeah.
But it's something we've never done before.
Yeah. And I think we're at this point where we're like, it's time to do this.
It's time.
Confidence. Right?
Correct. Yeah. It's time. So going to be exciting. We can share more after Thursday on the podcast. But remember, first dibs for the email on Thursday, go to yalabat.com, sign up for the newsletter now.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put the link in the show notes also. And what else before we start?
If you like our content, please like, share, follow, subscribe to our videos, our podcasts. And if you want to work with us obviously we have our newsletter, right?
That
we just spoke about. But if you also want to work with us, what else can you do?
You can email us at contact@ministryofunny.com or just drop us a message at ministryofunny.com. And we have been getting more and more messages, which is great. Lots of ideas, guest pictures, please keep them coming.
Fan mail also, right?
Fan mail.
Like literal snail fan mail.
Yeah.
Like mail
7-page mail that came in fan mail. So that's great. We'll respond when we can.
Yes.
So just please keep them coming.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
But even though it was a chill weekend,
Yeah.
there were still news, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this time coming from the opposition space.
Yes.
Last week we spent, I think, a good part of the week, shitting on Workers' Party and Pritam Singh. Who are we going to shit on today, Harish?
Yeah. Who can we be jealous about? Yeah.
Salty
jealous
about
while we suck on the teeth of the PAP.
Yeah.
It is. It's debatable whether we'll be shitting or not. But it's PSP, Progress Singapore Party, because on Saturday, 5th July, they had a press conference where they announced a few quite monumental things. First and foremost, Dr. Tan Cheng Bock, their chairman, is retiring. The first vice chairperson, Hazel Poa, retiring, and treasurer S. Nala Karupan is also retiring.
Retiring from the CEC.
The Central Executive Committee.
Specific.
Yeah, so they are still going to be part of the party, and I believe Dr. Tan is going to be the advisor. So in their place, Mr. Abbas bin Kasmani will be the new chairman, while Anthony Neo will be the treasurer. And then they have also co-opted 3 individuals into the CEC, which is Sani Ismail, who was their candidate for West Coast Jurong West GRC. For this past election, Lawrence Peck, candidate for Choa Chu Kang GRC, and Stephanie Tan, candidate for Pioneer SMC, who was also the PSP representative for the roundtable.
Yes, that's right.
The useless roundtable, which she actually performed quite well. So a lot of other things about the direction and all, which was provided by Leong Man Wai. But when you saw this news, what came to mind, Terence?
I guess the surprise is Hazel Poa stepping down from the CEC, right? We've met and interacted with Hazel Poa, Leong Man Wai, all very, very passionate for their cause, right? And I think Hazel Poa in the last 5 years has had quite a bit more visibility as NCMP. So I would have imagined her in the future of the party even after Tan Cheng Bock, right? If Tan Cheng Bock retiring, I think that everyone saw that already, because he's at that age where he should be spending time with his great-grandchildren or grandchildren, whichever.
Yeah.
But Hazel Poa is still relatively young. She's, 54?
Yeah, correct.
And I thought she would still have a future within the leadership of the party going forward. But she stepped down, and now the 3 new first-timers in the GE have stepped up, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there is really a push for renewal of leadership rather than building on what they had before.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about PSP for GE 2025, I think we also mentioned that their performance was almost disappointing, in the sense that in the lead up they felt like they weren't that visible, or maybe in the lead up they did do certain things Tan Cheng Bock, Leong Man Wai, and Hazel Poa coming together to contest in a single GRC. When I think there was a lot of talk about how Leong Man Wai and Hazel Poa, being very prominent NC MPs in Parliament, might take on SMCs, spread the might. But they were very clear in saying that they don't want to abandon the residents who got them into Parliament.
Yeah.
So they ran, but then in the end, they lost. They lost to the PAP team led by Desmond Lee. I think he got 59, almost 60%.
Yeah.
They got 40%, which is a dip. So you look at that, and throughout the hustings period, they weren't the most apparent. It was a bit disappointing for me, because they were rarely in the news.
Yeah.
Other parties were in the news for right and wrong reasons, but felt like they were fading.
I mean, fading, but not only fading, I think in terms of, for us, even when we were thinking about the social media presence of PSP during the election, it felt much more subdued than what we were expecting, right? We were expecting it to be a really close fight given what happened in 2020. But we didn't see much about PSP on social media. And us going on the ground in the West Coast, I thought, maybe because there really was a lot of ground to cover in the West Coast. I think Hazel Poa painted it very clearly on our podcast that the changing of boundaries really made their workload significantly larger, right? And I thought that was the reason that they weren't spending that much time on social media. But like you say, everything just felt like the sphere of influence was smaller during the GE in terms of the people remembering them or being top of mind, right?
Yeah, and not even memed.
Yeah, no memes at all.
No
Other
memes.
than I think the Kapak
the
entry
Kapak
nearly
entry,
decapitated Tan Cheng Bock and Leong Man Wai at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Other than that, nothing else, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you can argue about the merits of being memes, but you are at least remarkable enough to be remembered, lah.
Yeah, that's right.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, quiet. And it almost felt like they were out of touch, lah.
That's
Because
right.
on one hand, even to PAP's credit, like their social media game, a lot of it was cringe, but they were on social media. WP, of course, always good at it.
Yeah.
SDP, I thought SDP was very present, very vocal. The PSP was, quiet.
Yeah. I mean, it could also point to the fact that, Tan Cheng Bock, he was a PAP man at first, right? And a lot of the tactics or strategy that they used seemed a bit more traditional in that sense of someone who has been in politics a long time. As opposed to SDP, putting Arifin Shah at the forefront of a lot of what they were doing, realizing that, he could really galvanize the youth vote as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, credit to Stephanie Tan for a decent performance in the roundtable, but she did not have that kind of magnetic appeal that Arifin had for younger people, right?
And no one called her a racist term, lah.
Yeah. I mean, minus that kind of.
No, I mean that propelled him to.
I think his response to it was really
his
quite
response
admirable.
was good, lah.
His response was admirable.
Yeah.
Overall, I think the party was damaged as a whole, but
Yeah.
I think Arifin's star continues to shine, right?
Yeah.
Stephanie Tan, did well, but as we mentioned, the whole not even debate, what do you call it? The round table itself was just such a letdown that nobody really cared about the individuals in it, lah.
Yeah. There was no James Lim moment.
Yeah. So when you see this new CEC and this new makeup and all, do you feel refreshed, changed world, new team, fresh resolve? How do you feel about it?
I mean, I actually feel more optimistic than what I was thinking might happen, lah. In the sense that, there, of course, there's a Straits Times article. All the people mentioned, including the party themselves, have Facebook posts talking about, either they're stepping down and their belief in the new leadership or taking on the role as new leaders, lah.
Yeah.
And I mean, even in the article, Leong Man Wai said that it's a big moment for the PSP. We are launching a renewed party today. Renewal will involve 4 key areas and all. Nurturing new leaders, building a stronger trust with Singaporeans on the ground, helping Singaporeans to understand government policies better, and making its voice louder online. And they admitted that it was a loud wake-up call, GE 2025.
Yeah.
So I'm actually heartened to know that they're still going to give it a shot. Because my worry was like, oh shit, this was a huge blow. Their 3 most prominent individuals, 2 of whom are NCMPs, could not push the tide in a GRC where the PAP anchor is new.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Desmond Lee took over Iswaran, lah. Right? Of course, the boundaries change. But to see them kind of still be optimistic, still have that urge, even though the picture Straits Times used also got a lot of empty seats.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many people attended.
Yeah.
But it felt like, okay, they're still going to be around. What happens next? I don't know. But to me, the fact that they're still going to be around, they're still going to give it a shot, I hope they can stay on.
Yeah. But alluding to that, how the press conference looked and the fact that it was a press conference of all things to make the announcement. And subsequently, now you go to the website, you'll see pictures and bios of the new CEC around the people section. I think they need a serious rebranding. I mean head to toe, whether you're thinking about new logo, new profile photos for everyone, new don't wear this red and white polo tee and everything already, right? It just, when I look at all the images of everyone and respect to all the people, right? But it just does feel like I'm looking at some, country club, like the executive committee of a country club kind of thing, right? And even the young people look, the way they're styled, and the younger people, the way they're styled, it makes them look even older, right? Than what they actually are. Even Stephanie Tan herself, everyone says the next young star of PSP, but I look at it, I'm like, this is someone who's out of touch with like the younger voters and all that, right? So I just feel like it needs to be more than just putting new people into place. They really need to look at the branding and everything. I think Leong Man Wai is a very passionate, very passionate individual. But sometimes I look at the branding of PSP now, I just feel like it feels very dated,
True.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like a family WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
You know, that kind where it's just the uncles and aunties sending good morning messages,
Yeah.
Which, I mean, of course, there is the argument that as politicians, as people who are trying to effect change, it should be the policies that matter. But that doesn't apply anymore. Like, for whatever you want to talk about WP and all, the fact is their branding is fucking strong.
Yeah.
It almost makes it look cool.
Yeah.
And we saw it firsthand, right? When we went to certain of the JRCs that they were contesting, they were like rock stars with people orbiting around them.
Yeah.
And when we saw the equivalent for PAP, no lah, there's none of that vibe.
Yeah.
But for PSP, it's like, wow. Yeah, that's true. Like, you look at the website, it's like, is it Mothership? There's nothing cool about it.
And I think, remember, independent candidate Jeremy Tan was on a podcast and he talked about how to read a PSP manifesto, literally you click and then there'll be a sound of like of the page flipping. And just everything,
it's true.
The UI and everything is just feels very dated.
If you go to the website now, literally you click on manifesto, it is one of those embedded PDF things flip. And it just feels like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, to attract the younger talent also, you will attract a certain kind, I guess.
Yeah. I was listening to an interesting podcast about the New York state representative who, I think he's running for mayor, right? Zoran Mamdani, right?
Mamdani, yeah.
And they talked about how just everything about him is just screams young, right?
Yeah.
And they talk to great granularity about how even his style of videos, the way he films his videos, the fact that they are organically vertical videos, right? It just makes it different from any other politician out there. I mean, everyone can use social media. They can be on Threads or Twitter or whatever. But the fact, how Mamdani, his branding and everything is just really built for vertical video, social media, TikTok and Instagram. It just feels so different, and the way he talks to the camera and, treats the audience as like someone that you're just talking to, it's just so different from every other candidate that's out there that even you throw money at it like, Cuomo or whatever, you just can't match that level of connectedness that he has with the Gen Zs and the young people, which I think is what PSP is severely lacking. I mean, you think about 5 years ago, 2020, when Workers' Party had their, unveiling video of the election, and then it was just that video of, I think, the candidates, they had Nicosia and everyone just sitting down on the stool, getting ready for interview.
Music and all.
Whoa! People still remember that announcement, like, whoa, wow, that really showed you there was something fresh and something new about it. Whereas PSP, I mean, I look at the pictures even at the press conference, I'm like, oh, after this, there's probably going to be a buffet at the side with like bee-hoon and like and some spring rolls, for the media who are there. And it's just that kind of vibe that feels like it belongs in the 90s.
Yeah.
Right?
And I mean, it is a real thing, even for us, right? We live and breathe social media.
Yeah.
But am I the most clued in on the trends of social media or understand? I don't. This is why we got someone in to help us. We have an intern who helps us now to help us understand, because we are not masters of this by any means.
Yeah.
Social media. But it feels like their branding.
Yeah. So I was kind of hoping that they would announce, like, how Desmond Lim in the middle of the GE, he announced new branding for the SDA as well. They changed from the neon green color to like blue.
Blue, yeah.
I wish they did it before the elections, but I mean, whatever. At least it's a very bold change that signifies they're trying something different.
Yeah.
Whereas I think PSP needs to move away from the more of the same or the shadow of Tan Cheng Bock that it's been in since its founding, right?
Yeah. And I mean, you can almost see the personalities come out. PAP is the one who the one who's always there, sometimes a bit annoying and all, but they are always there. WP is a cool candidate.
Yeah.
SDP is like the uncle that always has crazy ideas. But I mean, they try their best to sell their ideas.
And they managed to get people like
excited.
Paul Tambaya, very, very capable people and very, very well-respected people to join the organization. Even if you think, whatever you think of Chee Soon Juan, but he manages to get people to join him, right?
And like they're talking about stuff that really makes you think, free healthcare, free education, They want to start a union to. It's almost like at the party, you got this person who always got these ideas. But you still listen because, hey, actually, maybe quite interesting. RDU is just someone who's damn angry. Damn angry on ChatGPT the whole day.
But they managed to attract people to want to be on the slate. So okay, power to them.
Exactly. PSP, what is the appeal to join? If you're angry, you go RDU. If you want to be cool, you go WP. If you are kind of like thinking out of the box, you go SDP. SDA, I think if you really want to do like charitable work, walk on the ground, be with an uncle who is very sweet, but also got some weird ideas. SDA lah. PPP is just want to complain.
But maybe there is something with that we're missing in the sense of the great respect and reverence that some people have for Dr. Tan Cheng Bock, right? That unfortunately I do think may not resonate very well with younger voters already, right? It was quite a while back that people have such fond memories of Tan Cheng Bock and remember how he spoke up for the people, right?
Yeah.
So I think the issue there is that reverence for Dr. Tan and what he did as an MP, maybe just building your whole manifesto based on that was holding back the party a little bit.
Even statement, we are building on the solid foundation laid by Dr. Tan Cheng Bock and our founding leaders while still guided by their dream of a fairer, stronger and more livable Singapore. Yeah, and maybe like that's true. If you take away Dr. Tan, I think that's why a lot of people were worried. He is 85. He said this would be his last election. So maybe that also factored into people's confidence. If Dr. Tan is only going to be a one more election, what are we building towards? Which is a terrible thing to have that's so much reliant on an individual. Like WP, even RDU to their credit, I think their brand is starting to go beyond the individual. PAP, of course but and SDP also, it feels like it's moving a little bit past Chee Soon Juan. Now Dr. Tambaya, a lot of people know him, right? But PSP, it's true. I'm glad they are still going to give it a shot. But some major rebranding.
And
I mean, Hazel Poa not being part of it is a bit of a disappointment also.
A bit of a disappointment. But there could be personal reasons also that she's not doing. I mean, she was quite open about her family situation and all, even on our podcast. And I think they mentioned that she wasn't feeling well that day. That's why she wasn't at the press conference either. But it's just we'll see how things move. I think this is just the first step in many that PSP needs to take in order to still be around for 2030, Because a lot of people were speculating, is this the end of PSP and all?
I mean, they said their CEC is meeting and soon to chart out the plans for 2025 to 2027 and that they will update at the end of this month. So, I mean, for all we know, maybe they are working on some of the stuff already, rebranding, new logo, new website, new manifesto, PDF where you don't have to flip. So because I can't imagine that flipping on the phone. Probably be very annoying.
That's right.
So I mean, we will keep a lookout. They will make their announcements before Parliament sits because it's still 2 freaking months before Parliament sits. So we see .
So I mean, a lot of these changes that are happening for PSP happening out in the open. But other things that have been out in the open has also caused a lot of gossip and discussion, right? About a couple that was a bit too open with their relationship that led to a fiasco in a car park, right? What is this issue?
I think the first time I caught wind of this very serious issue was when the Mothership article came out with a title that very intellectually describes the situation. Man catches wife naked with another man in car at Sengkang car park, gets hit when car driven off. And as Redditors pointed out, the URL is very poetic. Is mothership.sg/2005/07/man-wife-naked-car.
That's good for SEO.
Sums up the whole thing,
Depends on what kind of SEO you're trying to reach, right?
Man, wife, naked car. Or is it man, wife, naked in a car? You never know.
Even the follow-up article, because the trial's ongoing. The URL also is man, naked, lover, husband, no sex.
Oh my God. So that happened. And then they just describe, so the case is ongoing, but generally the facts was this gentleman went to a multi-story car park near his home in Sengkang looking for his wife because he couldn't get in touch with her. And he spotted the car of the guilty adulterer, which he recognized because he had sent this guy's wife home before. La.
Yeah.
Because you have the naked woman, the naked man, they are friends. La.
Yeah.
And the husband knew of the man.
Yeah.
And he is also sent home the man's wife. That's why he recognized the car license plate. He started recording a video, and as he got closer, found out they are naked, and one of them, his wife, jumped on the bonnet. And the naked man was so scared he started driving off. But he did still stop before the gantry. La.
Yeah.
So when did the man fall off? Between going from the parking lot to the gantry. La.
I think he said he was reversing at that point of time when the man fell, right? Yeah.
Okay. So he drove off and so then now he has appeared in court. The court case, I think it's set for the first day on 1st July. And there are some public things that we can share based on articles that are out there. La.
Yeah.
But like you first heard of this article, like did you make anything of it? Did you go down the rabbit hole when the article first came out?
Yes, of course. This was, I think, a lot of people were discussing this online. And people are just trying to piece together what happened, right? Like what was going on in the car with two people naked, and like why did they drive off immediately like that and endanger the poor husband who was clinging onto the bonnet? Because I don't know if you remember, a couple of years back there was an incident of a cyclist who was having a quarrel with someone in a car.
Yeah.
And the cyclist, stopped her bicycle right in front of the car, refused to let the car drive off. But when the car maneuvered to try to move away, the cyclist jumped onto the bonnet, held onto it for, I think, a street or two, a block or two, and eventually fell off and also damaged the car in the process.
Yeah.
And the court, I think, ultimately punished both of them, right? It wasn't just a one-sided thing, right? And the cyclist even got charged with harassment as well for what she did, like insisting to jump on the bonnet even though she didn't have to, right?
Yeah.
So that
you were looking at it from that angle,
I was looking at the angle,
legal implications and the intricacies. How does it apply to this?
Yeah,
okay.
who's wrong in this case?
Wrong?
Who's wrong, right?
Okay.
Ultimately, this man found his wife cheating with another man and wanted to confront them, but the two of them tried to escape,
Yeah.
And ultimately the man jumped onto the bonnet, which he probably, for his own sake, he probably shouldn't have done, right? But now the driver is being charged for, I think, a rash act, right?
Yeah. So I mean, do you have an idea who's wrong, who's right?
No, I mean, that's what the discussion is about. And I think because this case is still ongoing in courts, but it's quite interesting because the man who drove off, that means the guy who was the
his
third
name,
party.
it's public.
Yeah, it's public.
Right? It's
Cheng
Bock
Hazel.
Yeah,
it's a rash. He's on trial for a rash act endangering human life. And I think he also faces a charge of public nudity because he was nude in the car. But yeah, I mean, the fact that he drove off, and I think in court he told the court that they were having some intimacy acts, right, when they suddenly appeared, when the husband appeared. But apparently they were not having sex because apparently the wife was on a period, right?
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of discussion online about what does he mean by not having intimacy acts, but they are naked in the car and everything.
You mean you don't sit down naked with people and just have conversations?
When the weather is very hot, then you do that. But then why would you do it in the car? You would do it out in the open, right?
Okay, Terence, he said publicly, we can quote him. So initially, I, as usual, actually dropped her at her place downstairs. However, I think, we actually then went up to the multi-story car park, have some intimacy acts. After that, we actually chatting inside the car, but not dressed up. And then he clarified, did not involve anything sexual. Maybe they were playing long champas, or what's that one other hand? Scissors, paper, stone. Scissors, paper, stone. And that the whole session was not very long. While chatting, he was in the driver's seat while the lady Shun Yi was leaning against the dashboard facing him. And they parked at the washing bay area. As far as I know, washing bay areas tend to be on the first floor.
Yeah. That's right.
Isn't it a bit odd
To park at the
To
washing
be
bay
sitting
area.
in the driver's seat and passenger seat, park in the washing bay area. I guess facing inwards lah, at 2 a.m.
It is a bit odd, and I guess maybe should have had a bit more discretion also lah. Because first floor, a lot of people could walk past. But I'm not sure where exactly this washing bay area is, right? It could be in a very secluded corner as well.
That's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess they thought they would be alone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's worth reading out the quotes because they really impact the judgment lah.
Sure.
So he said, we park at the washing bay area, but we really don't have intention to stay so long. Then they spotted some lights. I thought it could be another vehicle. I didn't actually in my mind think of anything much until we started hearing the banging sound. She quickly ducked herself into the passenger seat. That is when she started screaming. And then she asked him to apparently quickly please protect her and quickly get out of this place. So this next quote, I think is verbatim. Then that time I was still in a shock state whereby what's happening? Because in my mind, it never crossed my mind it's Gordon in the first place. Then I'm like, how well do you know this guy?
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, Gordon is banging on the door because I'm naked with his wife who's also naked.
Yeah.
And then, I looked into his face. He was red. He was that kind of anger. He's trying to kill someone. And it reminded me that he will do something harmful to me. Absolutely, definitely. If by any way he can enter, also harm Shunyi. And he goes on to basically describe his questioning.
Yeah.
And that he panicked for fear of his safety and the girl's safety.
Yeah.
So he was trying to be chivalrous, Terence.
To protect her, right?
Yeah.
So that no harm comes to her.
Yeah.
I guess that's what he says he was doing. But people online are just also asking, what would you expect by being a third party in a relationship, in a marriage, right?
Yeah.
How does that, protect the welfare of the person that you care about and all that?
Yeah. And I mean, he goes on to say, actually, this whole thing is a very unfortunate incident. It's something that actually I've never thought I would be landed in with my character and personality. I'm not someone who likes to confront or likes to intentionally hurt someone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, you look at this, the two charges, he's actually pleading guilty to being naked.
Oh, yeah.
I think that is irrefutable.
Yeah, irrefutable.
Because there's a video that the husband took that was shown in courts. I mean, not to the media or public. But this one, I mean, it just feels like how is he going to be defended? But the thing is, he's not breaking a law by being adulterous.
You're not, yeah.
So he's not being tried for any of that.
He's being tried for the rash act of driving off with the person, which essentially he's saying that I was just trying to protect myself and the person, because there was no barrier other than the windscreen between him and the husband. No barrier because he also had no clothes, right?
He said that. I was actually so afraid at that time. We are not protected at all, not even our clothing. You read it, you're like, bro,
yeah.
How does this, you're trying to paint the victim.
But yeah, I mean, it does make you wonder, right? Like in this, is there a defense that you're trying to protect yourself when you're in the midst of hurting someone's marriage, right?
Yeah.
Is there a defense that, you just trying to protect yourself especially when you're in a car somewhere and someone is just outside your vehicle, right? And I think that's where, the big discussion about if someone is jaywalking and a car comes along and just hits the person, why is it that the person driving is charged? Because the jaywalker is breaking the law, right, technically. But I think the big thing is that cars, you have the ability to actually kill someone if you drive recklessly, right?
Yeah.
Whereas a person jaywalking, the consequences of it, you won't really hurt anyone by jaywalking. The law is there to prevent you from hurting yourself. Yeah.
So you're saying the burden of responsibility falls on the car driver.
Correct.
Which in this case is the naked man.
Yeah, the naked man. Yeah.
So, I mean, in some way, like you're saying, because regardless of the situation, you did a rash act.
Yeah. Technically, anyone could drive. Anyone could just jump onto your bonnet and all that, right? But it's your choice whether to drive away.
So it doesn't matter whether he was naked.
Doesn't matter whether he's naked. Doesn't matter if it's your wife.
His life was at risk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true, okay. If you look at it objectively, let's say I'm with someone else, and this person, and let's say I was a naked man.
Yeah.
Not naked, but there was no car, and this guy was coming at me with a knife. I can't just be like, bro, sorry, I'm doing non-sexual intimacy acts with your wife. Okay, lah, you stab me, lah.
Yeah.
You have to defend yourself, and you end up punching him. I think you will still get charged, but like kind of how you say
to be mitigated. By the circumstances, right?
Yeah, so maybe in this case, mitigated, but the guy was hanging outside. Apparently, he was trying to break the wiper, but the windscreen all not cracked.
Yeah.
So
we're all talking, but the thing is, we weren't there at the situation. You didn't see how enraged everyone looked, right, at that point in time. So you're right that there might be mitigating circumstances, right? But I do still think that if you're driving a vehicle, you just have to be extra careful when you're maneuvering around car parks or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You don't accidentally hit somebody a kid who's running in a car park or something, right?
Yeah.
And much more like someone that you know is on your bonnet, and if you reverse, he could fall off, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, his blood supply to the brain also was slightly lower than usual.
Yeah.
So...
And I mean, yeah, there was nothing protecting him. He felt vulnerable at that point in time.
Nothing protecting him.
So I mean, have you been in that situation where you are like, because you're not clothed fully or something, then you feel like extra vulnerable, extra like, not say sensitive, but vulnerable to physical pain?
Yeah lah. You never?
Of course, yeah. I would say every time, you go to those like water parks and everything, right? Then you no protection on your skin and all, and then every bump I feel against the floor or something just feels much more painful. I just get much more.
But you're not naked at the water park, lah.
You're not naked. They're half naked or what, lah. Yeah.
When
you're rolling around, say there's one of those wave pools and all that. When you get thrown around by the waves, it feels much more painful.
Even if it's just like a 2 mm thick t-shirt.
Yeah.
Psychologically, it provides something.
Yeah. So maybe that's where there was, he was reacting like that.
He's not half naked, he's full naked.
Full naked. Even more sensitive.
Full naked. Damn sensitive.
Yeah.
And I mean, so on the part of Gordon, like, do you think he also overreacted?
As the man who discovers his wife cheating on him and all?
Yeah.
I mean, the rage, I think everyone can understand, right? Yeah. And it's that kind of thing where, I mean, yeah, it's hard to fathom unless you're in that situation, like how enraged you would feel. And this time I think jumping on the bonnet, if like someone refuses to come out and talk to you and all, is probably, I mean, I can see why it happened.
Yeah, I mean, like, in this sort of instances, I mean, the one thing that comes to mind, very different situation, but I think anyone who watched the video, you can understand the man's fury, was when the case of the serial molester in the US, the gymnastics coach, gymnastics doctor or something, like found guilty of like molesting don't know how many young women, young girls, and was tried. But there was this one clip that went viral where the dad was in the courtroom and he asked the judge, "Can I just have 1 minute with this person?"
Yeah.
And the judge said no lah. And then he jumped over and went for the guy, and the police had to restrain him lah. But anybody watching it, I don't think they'll say, "Hey, bro, calm down lah."
Yeah.
Because two of his daughters were victims of that asshole's crime lah.
Yeah.
Of course, this is multitudes different, but I think the anger and reacting that way, hard to pass judgment on that also, man.
Yeah, I mean, this it also reminds me of the case of a former UFC heavyweight champion, Cain Velasquez. A couple of years back, he's retired already, but a couple of years back, he was charged with attempted murder and gun assault charges after he chased someone and shot at a man who was alleged to have molested his 4-year-old son. So ultimately, he missed the man, hit the man's father instead, but he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. But if you go online and read the court of public opinion, or that everyone's like, I would have done that if it was me also, right?
Yeah. Especially
and
now,
you would understand totally, right?
Now, as being a father and all, you can totally understand.
Yeah, you don't care what the consequences would be. It's just the rage would just get at you, and if there's anything that you can do with your own 2 hands, you probably would have tried to, right?
Yeah. So, I feel like we are putting more scrutiny in this topic than the first topic.
I mean, it's
Okay, there's more stuff to debate.
there's more stuff to debate.
There's more stuff. There's facts.
Yeah.
There's a case.
Not
there's
facts,
accounts.
they're alleged accounts.
Correct. Yeah.
Where we're listening to the accounts from both sides. Right?
Yeah, correct.
And I
correct.
think we will still hear from the other parties as well as witnesses.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's interesting because, there's people, we go into car parks every day. We never realize that these places can become arenas of like conflict like that as well.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm guessing the wife will also be tried for public nudity. She's going to stand on defense.
Good question. Yeah.
For him. But she will also be tried for public nudity.
Good question. But I think maybe because they're dealing with the larger charge now, which is the rash act on somebody, right?
I mean, the guy said, okay, I'm naked.
What else
I'm guilty. Yeah, I'm guilty. So she also like, what do you want me to do?
I mean, she wasn't the driver. She couldn't have like done anything.
But there's video evidence of them being naked. So maybe that one, they got no chance to appeal.
So I'm saying that she can't be charged for rash act because she wasn't the one driving, right?
Yeah.
But
I don't know whether the Gordon would be charged for anything, for assault.
Damage of private property or something, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Wow, what a crazy, man.
Yeah. So, at least, again, at least today we covered the two big things that people were talking about over the weekend, right?
Yeah.
PSP's leadership handover and this case of the naked man on the car bonnet.
Yeah.
It is making international news, like even internationally, Malay Mail and everything there, and they're covering this news as well.
But I'm looking at the picture on CNA's article that say, okay, this is Chia Hyok Sia leaving the state courts. And then Mothership article, there's a picture of a man in the header.
Yeah.
They look like two different people. Is this Gordon?
No, I think
we don't know, right?
I think it's the accused, yeah.
But the accused looks different in the CNA one.
Because he has a mask on or something?
I don't know, but you look at the... I guess similar eyes. But
don't go too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
if you want to, there's a lot of places you can go down the rabbit hole.
I think I've spent enough time on this topic for the rest of the year. Probably when there's the other updates.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
But yes, what is your one Shiok comment these few days?
Wait, let me pull it up. You got yours?
My one Shiok comment is, I think there's a lot of debate going on about our last episode about what Pritam Singh did, right? And the PAP's response to it. I just want to say, there's a very interesting discussion going on our subreddit about that I think Snoodingos 316 started about, saying that Snoodingos personally believes Yalabat is a balanced podcast and independent. With that being said, I do think there's an elephant in the room that was not addressed, and that most of the local podcasts are within jurisdiction of PAP, whether subtly or directly. That could be the main reason why he does not want to come on a local podcast at a time when there's a court case hanging over his head, right? And there's more talk about whether Yalabat are friends of PAP and everything. And people who come in from both sides and sort of trying to not say defend Yalabat, but talk about their understanding of why maybe Pritam Singh chose not to come onto local podcasts first.
Yeah.
So, it's very interesting to read all this because there are people who also are fans of Malaysian podcasts as well, and they give their 2 cents worth about it.
Yeah. And mine, is that whole thread also because there are people like, Snow Dingoes 316 who says, personally believe Yalabat is a balanced podcast and independent, but and they go on to say that on Reddit there are many who still think Yalabat are like what you mentioned, and then there's a challenge to Harish and Terence to do a podcast or at least half a podcast on this. Will they be willing? The topic is how much does the government civil service stat board influence a podcast and their topics? So we are thinking of doing an AMA at some point in future. I think people are kind of. I think someone said that even for our folklore pre-roll ad, we now talk about having interviewed the PM, and that shows our affiliation. I think that there's the interpretation of it, but I would be totally down to explain any or answer any questions people have. On an AMA, where people have also said that like our folklore 60 for 60 Singaporeans is a project for SG60. We work with MediaCorp, and that's why we have to toe the line. We don't and I don't know how else to say it apart from a detailed AMA, and we can share like our thought process about how we think about our podcast, the things we're going to say, the risk it might bring to other projects, and how we navigate that because yes, we are playing within Singapore, so you don't want to just be POFMart unnecessarily.
Yeah.
I don't think we believe in getting POFMart just for the sake of publicity. But there are certain things that we really, really try our best to do. Then maybe people are jumping to conclusions that we don't.
Yeah.
So maybe it's time. We haven't had an AMA for a long time.
Correct.
We haven't had a episode where we answer questions. I think like our listenership has grown a lot since GE 2025. So maybe it's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time.
I think it'd be good to do an AMA about this because, even on Reddit as well, like, it's people are starting to post a lot of news there as well. So I'm very glad that our Yellow Butt subreddit is now becoming a third space beyond Singapore or Singapore Raw, right? Where people actually come to post articles to discuss between themselves about it. Once in a while, I like to jump in, and I think for you also, once in a while, you like to jump in. So, keep that going.
Yeah, man. Cool. All right. And what about your One Shiok Thing, man?
My One Shiok Thing is a Singaporean YouTube channel that I just saw a video of theirs over the weekend. It's called Facepalm Fishing, and it's a bunch of young YouTubers who I think they do videos about fishing and the hobby of fishing. But now it's very trendy to do like overnight camping on Singapore's island. So they did a video recently called Surviving a Night on Pulau Ubin, Camping, Fishing and Cooking. And rather than just the typical like, this is how I camp in Pulau Ubin and this is what I brought, this is what I ate for dinner and all that. They actually talk a little bit about the fishing ecosystem in Pulau Ubin and their techniques for fishing in different parts of Pulau Ubin. And each person of their group brings a different style. They bring their different styles of fishing as well. And they show you the kind of fish they manage to catch while fishing overnight, which actually was quite interesting. Because I always see people fishing, but I've never done it myself, so I never understood the appeal of it. But what was cool is that, they got to Pulau Ubin, they fished whenever before sunrise, then they set up fire and everything. They ate what they caught. But then after that, they did the night fishing, and then they actually started fishing at night as well. And then they caught different types of fish, and it was just purely for the sport of it and not to eat the fish. So it was just quite interesting seeing these young people. They do good quality videos.
What's the name of the channel?
Facepalm Fishing. So I think they're growing bigger now. They got like almost 14,000 subscribers. So they actually have. It's more interesting than just like, I'm going to spend a night in Pulau Ubin and this is not what it is. It's not just a travel thing. It's just they also talk a little bit about the whole sport of fishing and why it's appealing to them.
Wow, they look like they know their shit, man.
They know the shit. So, kudos to them. And I mean, just seeing the other videos, they actually really go to like other countries and they talk about the tackles and boat fishing and fishing other places as well. So they're really into it.
Oh, that's damn awesome, man.
Yeah.
Oh, solid. Cool, man. Okay, my One Shiok Thing is a comedy special that I watched over the weekend by Andrew Schultz. You know Andrew Schultz, the US comedian who I think got a lot more prominent over COVID. Now he has he hosts one of the co-hosts of the Flagrant podcast.
Yeah.
And I mean has come up the ranks quite a bit the past year. So he had this latest special called Life, which talks about the journey of him and his wife having a baby girl and all the challenges and through IVF and all that. So I mean, like when I was reading the reviews and all, I mean on Reddit, this was the thing that I was telling you before the podcast. On Reddit, a lot of people were shitting on it. But I feel that's a bit unfair because you're saying, it's just the jokes are so low-hanging fruit and like nothing, it doesn't make you think. And like, when I watched it, there's nothing that made me, sometimes you watch Dave Chappelle or something, you're like, wow, that is damn smart. But I was laughing throughout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. And by the end, I was tearing up.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Then I was like, this was, I mean, especially for new fathers, there's something there. The jokes, it's an easy watch. Of course, it's a lot of, it's about New York and stuff like that. But if you watch content online, you get general pop culture references. You'll get it. So, I would highly recommend it.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, yeah. Wow. It's good. And for new fathers, New fathers.
Yeah. Andrew Schultz.
But
his style, what did he get famous for again?
I think his podcast is quite big. I think some of the politicians, like that Ramesh guy came on his podcast from the US. I don't think Trump or anything.
Okay.
But it's one amongst the comedians in the US. Of course, there's Joe Rogan, there's Theo Von, there's Mark Maron, but I think they're like tier 2 lah.
I see.
Yeah, quite big. And then his stand-up specials, he's gone viral on social media quite a few times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a good special because some specials in the past I watched, I'm like, I can't get through it lah.
His specials.
No, like other newer specials on Netflix. But this one, yeah, you watch it, I was laughing a lot.
Oh, okay.
Laughing a lot.
That's cool.
It was good, man.
Nice.
It was good. Cool, man.
All right.
Awesome.
So it's going to be another very busy week.
Yeah, man.
But we'll still be coming 3 times this week.
3 times. And remember, Thursday, 10th July, we are launching something cool. So go to yalabat.com, sign up for the newsletter so that you get emailed as soon as it goes live.
Yeah.
Cool. And if you want to work with us,
please email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com or check out ministryoffunny.com.
Sweet. Thanks for listening, everybody. And we'll talk to you all soon.